Kenneth Arnold. Some see him as a man whose happy accident changed the world, while others see him as a madman claiming to see flying saucers in the sky. Either way, he opened the floodgates of UFO sightings to the world. Since the sighting on June 24, 1947, hundreds upon thousands of UFO sightings were reported, including the famous Roswell, New Mexico crash. On June 24th, Kenneth had just finished work at the airport in Chehalis, Washington, and had decided to call it a day and fly to Yakima.
My trip was delayed for an hour,
Kenneth noted,
to search for a large marine transport that supposedly went down near or around the southwest side of Mount Rainier.
While Kenneth was searching for the marine transport, a blinding light entered the cockpit of his plane. He looked around frantically, thinking he was dangerously close to another aircraft, but all he could see was the DC-4 that was flying behind him. Then, several other flashes entered his plane from his left, north of Mount Rainier. When he first looked, he thought what he was seeing were 9 water spots on his window, but after rolling down his window, he had decided that these explanations were inaccurate, as he could still see whatever was reflecting the light, even with his window down. Once the things, skipping like rocks on water, passed in front of Mount Rainier, he was able to clearly define their shape.
I thought it was very peculiar that I couldn't find their tails.
He used the DC-4 and the mountains to judge the craft's size and speed. He found them to be 100 feet in span, which reached from one farthest engine on the DC-4 to the other. Also, they were shorter in length than the DC-4. Kenneth estimated them to be flying at around 12,000 miles per hour, much faster than the fastest jet at the time. When Kenneth had landed in Yakima, he told one of his airport buddies who called the press. Kenneth's story had appeared in multiple magazine articles, newspaper articles, and newscasts. He even wrote a book on the sighting and sketched the saucers multiple times in his notebooks. Some skeptics argue that Kenneth had not seen flying saucers, but rather pelicans or seagulls. Kenneth contradicts this when he explains that the things had no tails and that they flew too high and too fast to be birds. Since the Cold War had started months before, some argue that what he saw was experimental U.S. aircrafts. This is a valid argument, but it can be neither confirmed nor denied since the government is so secretive about whether or not they are working on experimental aircrafts. One final argument was that he was hallucinating and never actually saw the crafts. This is supported by the fact that the pilot of the DC-4 claimed not to have seen anything. Mistaken objects or aircrafts from another planet. Kenneth's sighting has changed the way the world, not just America, looked into the night sky.